Every once in a while, we're lucky enough to have somebody come back on the show and revisit the Wall-to-Wall Country Show, and that happens to be the case today. We're so honored and very happy to have back on board a gentleman synonymous with just great country music. He has written so many songs for some great artists. He's got such a great deep and country type voice that women just swoon over this guy. And he's got a little something where he goes and helps people write. He's doing some touring, releasing some music, and we're so happy to have on board. Welcome back, Mr. Bernie Nelson. Thank you for rejoining the show, Bernie.
Hey, Casey, I have to tell you right up front, synonymous is now my new word. I'm going to try to put it in a song sometime this week. So,
oh, cool.
I've used it before, so I'm going to put that in a song somehow.
I don't know what rhymes with that.
I think that's the challenge right there. Just what rhymes with synonymous. Let's get your radio listeners to dig deep to see what they can come up with.
There you go. And if they have something, they can go right ahead and post it on Facebook. And who knows? Maybe the line that they get in is a line that you'd use in your song. That's so awesome, Bernie.
Anonymous, yes. I love
Anonymous. It's a big word. Don't ask me to say another one now.
Yes. No. And you know, it's Earth Day today, too. And let me tell you, Mother Earth is having a field day everywhere. You got rain, you got sunshine, you got snow. It's crazy.
Yeah, she's right now. We have had both, the best of both worlds. Actually, we had a beautiful morning. It was blue skies and just nice and mild. Coming to work and sunshine. The birds were tweeting. And then about a half an hour ago, it got really dark really quickly. And now it's windy and raining. It's almost like crazy out there. It got real windy, and this big storm is coming across now. So I don't know. We better get a lot of flowers in May. That's all I got to say.
I know. I woke up the other morning and found a great big oak tree laying right alongside my house. I mean, it missed my house by just a few feet and right outside my bedroom window, but thank goodness to Jack Daniels, I slept right through it and never had a bugger come down.
I saw the pictures on your Facebook page. I saw your posts about that, and I was I thought that same thing, because my husband and I live in the woods in a log cabin, and every once in a while, one goes down. One down last summer near our house and missed it just by a little bit. And I'm like, thank God, my goodness gracious, that would hurt. I think it would leave a mark.
Log houses have this blessing. I think the trees respect the other trees that the house is made of, so they don't want to fall on it. On some kind of kindling thing. I don't know.
Hey, whatever works.
Exactly.
As long as they don't fall on my house, I don't care what the reason is.
No.
That's awesome.
It's good to get back home. I've been on a radio tour across the pond, and so it's good to get back home and get some yard work done.
Yeah, and clean up that tree. And you've got firewood for the winter.
Got firewood. I got some wonderful wood to make some bowls out of them, and start diving into those guys too.
Nice.
So.
Well, good for you. So, just a real quick, let's let everybody. I mean, you and I are talking like best friends here, and I think maybe some folks would like a little bit more information about where you come from, though, Bernie. I mean, you just have the career that is an amazing, amazing, amazing career, and I know it's tough to sum it up pretty quickly, but a little bit where you're from, and how you got into this amazing life of writing for some amazing people like Kenny Chesney and Winona, and I know you had the thing with Confederate Railroad and the Oak Ridge Boys, and just crazy stuff. Where did that all start? Is there a moment in time that you were like, oh, that's what I want to do?
I think there was. I remember when I was in high school, I had a really fast car. I was driving down the road one night really fast, and it just came over me that I was going to spend the rest of my life pretty much on the music business. And I didn't know what that meant, but it was this big release where I just went, well, I'm not going to be a truck driver. I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a scientist. Well, the scientist part was ruled out somewhere around the sixth grade, I think, with my grades. But, I just knew I wanted to be in the music business, but I didn't know what the business was, so I started jumping into it. What is the business of music? I mean, it's not just grab a guitar and go play songs, but there's more involved to it. So you have to be aware of all that before you commit to the music business. You have to be aware of the fact that it is work, and it entails a lot of things besides just playing music.
Well, obviously you're doing something right. I mean, you have more than 25 million records sold, and it credits a lot of people and your style of music. I think one of the things that's so different about you compared to some of the newer artists that I talk to and some of the new songs that are out there and things like this, and country's country on one side of the coin, but I find when I talk, it's almost like it's a little divided between some of the classic artists or the artists that have been doing it for a long time, whatever you want to define that as, to some of the new artists. And I find that it seems to be content or how you write or deliver certain things. A lot of artists today, they're kind of mixing it up with a little punk, a little rock, whatever, talking about driving in trucks and girls wiggling their fanny and all that kind of stuff. But then there's a whole nother section of country artists that I just love and adore. People like you, and I'm so honored that I'm going to be able to speak to John Conley in a couple of weeks and a couple of those guys, where the way you deliver your songs, the way you write your songs, the story behind them, the thought process behind them. Do you see that? Because you're such a huge writer. Do you see that because with the difference between new and old, or does it all seem the same to you?
Well, I like to run around with a lot of the younger artists, the younger writers in Nashville, and they'll come up to me and they'll say, "Hey, I just listened to so-and-so's album. I really love it." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's good." No, it's really an incredible album. Well, that's great. Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks goes by, and I'll say, "Well, what are you listening to now?" Well, I thought you loved so-and-so's album. I went back and listened to it. There were really only a couple of songs on it that really stood out. I think at first you embrace these albums and you go, "Wow, that's really great." But I think the test of a really great album is that an album that is an album, not just a bunch of songs thrown together. And then you have to have each song has to have its own identity, and they all have to be really, really good. I mean, so many of these albums that come out, they have one or two singles, and the rest of it's just filler to feed the pockets of the publishing companies. So to me, the craft is to put together an entire body of works that stands on its own.
And you teach this. You work with artists. I think one of the things that also makes you incredibly unique is, there's a lot of writers out there or whatever, and they just write and they sell their songs or they do whatever. But you actually have taken your talent and you're trying to share your talent with a little something you call Bernie's Weekend or Bernie's Songwriting Camp. And tell people a little bit about that. I've had some new artists come and they're like, "Yeah, I like to write. Sometimes I struggle," and I've tried to nudge them your way. I don't know if any of them have ever made an attempt to contact you and maybe learn a little something from you. But I think that's such a unique thing. Tell us how that came about and what that actually does as you, the teacher, to some new artists or whoever wants to learn how to write.
Well, we have an organization in Nashville that supports songwriters, the Nashville Songwriters Association International, and they fight for us in Congress and try to keep us from losing more money every day that we keep losing to different things like Pandora and Spotify and downloading and streaming. And they're just out there trying to get us the money that we deserve. Mm-hmm. And for years I would do workshops for the NSAI, and I would write one-on-one with people that were brought to me through the NSAI, and I started doing some stuff like that at my house, my log house in the country. And one day I thought, I should maybe do something with this, so I decided to call it Weekend at Bernie's and put it out there for people who are not necessarily even songwriters, just people who want to try to be a songwriter, people who have ideas, they want to see what can become of them and stuff in a song format, but they would never be able to sit down with a professional songwriter and get the tips and get the know-how and advance their thoughts to actually becoming a really good song. And that's what Weekend at Bernie's is, and it's there on my website at BernieNelsonMusic.com. And people can come out to the house and, sit down with me. We get to know each other, and we write songs. And fortunately for me, there are 6 songs on my new album that's doing really well that were written by Weekend at Bernie's people. 6 songs out of 13.
Wow.
That were written by plumbers, dentists, salespeople, and accountants that have never had a song published on Music Row.
That's really interesting, and it kind of like fulfills maybe a dream, even if that's the only song that they do or whatever. I mean, that's pretty cool for them to be able to walk away and have that little accomplishment in their back pocket and makes them feel good. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, one of two things happens. Either they go, "Wow, I finally got that off my bucket list," or
right.
they start getting really involved in the songwriting world and become better at it, and go on to be professional songwriters and
Wow.
professional artists. And I love that. I mean, I've had people who've been out on the road touring as artists and doing okay, and then they just realize their songs just weren't there, and they come to me and say, let's do a weekend at Bernie's, and we do that. Next thing you know, they're out there having success with their songs. So,
is Scarecrow one of the songs that was written in that kind of scenario?
Exactly. Scarecrow and the current single in the UK, a little bit, were both Weekend at Bernie's songs. The last UK success we had, Lonelyville, which did 3 weeks at number one in the UK, another Weekend at Bernie's song written by a guy that sells, I think he's a marketing guy, and then Scarecrow, he sells major filters to factories and stuff like that. And, just kind of a lot of them had the same story, that they had to give up their dream because they started having kids and they wanted to be responsible, and they started making money, and they made a lot of money, and they just couldn't really afford to jump back into their dream, and this came along, and they spent the money and came out of the house.
And that's so cool. That's, I mean, even if it was a bucket list thing, I mean, that's kind of a neat accomplishment to be able to do that and feel good about something like that. And that, I just think that's just an amazing thing. One day I would like to come out and visit, and if I ever get the chance to come down there, I'll be sure to get in touch and go, can I just come out and hang out for a minute? Because I think that would be fun.
You know what's funny is years ago, Beaumont, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas, and pockets like Oklahoma had all these musicians and songwriters, and all of a sudden it's Pennsylvania. I mean,
yeah,
crying out loud, there's some talent over there. I mean, you got Taylor Swift, and there's just so much talent coming out of Pennsylvania. It's unbelievable.
I mean, I think it's everywhere. I just think, I honestly think that, you really have to be, adamant about it and really believe in yourself and really do that. And I've had a couple of local artists here that come to the studio and do the interview live here, and I think they're all wonderful. I think they're all have a chance, to get, down to Nashville and do what they need to do. So I always tell them, I'm always like, just keep going, keep believing in yourself, keep trying, keep don't let the dream die, because as soon as you decide that you're not going to get anywhere, that's the minute you're not going to get anywhere. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of weird, but
yeah, and I want, the one thing I always try to explain to people is that you don't have to be from Austin, Texas. I grew up in a really small town in Michigan, and the chances of me being a big name in Nashville, Tennessee, just seemed ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And you just find out through time that cream rises to the top, and just you have to follow your dream and at least explore it. And you may move to Nashville and never get a song recorded, but you find Nashville to be your home because there's so much great music here, and there's so much opportunities here outside of being a songwriter or an artist too.
Right, and it's all about following your dream and really just, I think that's the big thing. It's like, just believe in yourself and follow your dream. And I think those are good words of advice for a new artist, or even, somebody who's been at it for a while and just feels like, God, I've been doing this for 12 years and I haven't gotten anywhere yet. But, you just got to keep at it. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. Yeah,
I can't remember who said it, but if you do what you love to do, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Right.
That's just the truth, I'm fortunate to do what I love to do, both play music, write music, and teach music. So
yeah,
if I wasn't making music, I'd be a teacher someplace. So
that's awesome. Well, I think that's great. And speaking of your music and all the songwriters and stuff, we touched on it a little bit. I want to feature some of your music that. It's really cool to know the background on some of these songs, to know that, it just wasn't you sitting in a room writing down words, but, helping something write and giving someone a little bit of recognition for such great songs. Scarecrow off your new album, Blue, is one of them, and I'd like to feature that here in a minute. Can you give us a little background of where the songwriter's idea of how it came up with Scarecrow?
My co-writer, Rob Berenger, wanted to write a song called... I think it was called when the Eagle Cries, or something like that. And my brain is funny. If you say a purple sky, I hear, orange tennis shoes. It's just the way I'm wired. So, so he said when the Eagle Cries, and I didn't want to write a patriotic song. I just had some success with Mark Wills with Looking for America, and I didn't want to write another patriotic song. And somehow Scarecrow came out, and that feel, that gritty little woodsy kind of Civil War feel came out of it, and then we kind of extended it from there and got it rocking and acoustic at the same time.
Nice. A little something called Scarecrow off his Blue album. A bunch of great songs on that album. You've just been out and about trying to let some folks in the UK know about it, right, Bernie? Doing some traveling.
Boy, I tell you, we covered some ground, and I think we did what they call 4,000 kilometers in like 5.5 days, and that's covering some dirt.
Okay. Hopefully you didn't do it on a horse.
Nope. No, but, as they said over there, my arse was getting a little sore from sitting all that time. But we covered mostly Ireland, up and down several times, and you know how radio shows are. You can never line them up exactly the way you want to,
right,
to save some time and distance. But then we got to go to Scotland and do a show in Glasgow, and then down to Liverpool and Shropshire, England, and it was really eye-opening and just overwhelming to know that my music is being played that much in the UK also. So
they like their country over there. They like it. Yeah?
They like real country. It's amazing. And I like all kinds of country. I like these new guys, and I appreciate what they're doing. I just want to see them get a little bit deeper into their depth pocket and their songs. And I think we're starting to see that. The charts are showing that, and the pitch sheets are showing me what they're looking for, and it all sounds like it's getting towards content. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before. But how long were you over there, Bernie?
I was over there for 7 days, and we hit the ground running on the 8th of April, and I don't think I saw 3 hours of sleep the whole time, and a lot of that was done in the front seat of a Mercedes on the wrong side of the road.
And you wake up and you go, holy crap!
Yeah. I got back in my car in Nashville. I drove, I think, maybe like 6 blocks on the wrong side of the road before somebody started coming at me. I thought, what an idiot, get out of my way. And they're like, no, crap. It's amazing how quickly you can readjust.
Wow.
But, it was great. The people loved the music, and the people that listened to radio shows were very responsive to what we were saying and what we were playing.
And they liked the new release, the one that you have recently just released over there, which was called Little Bit. That was something that they really kind of bit into, so to speak?
Yeah, we just turned that loose a couple of weeks ago, and we did a dance mix on it because line dancing is humongous over there.
Wow.
As much as they love it here in the States, it's really big in Germany and Ireland and Switzerland and a lot of the UK. And by golly, it's a totally different thing over there. It's an event. Line dancing has its own chart and everything over there. It's just incredible.
I have a couple of artists that call me from Switzerland and Norway that are from over there. And when I first was starting to get country artists from the UK in places like that, I was like, what? Wait, what? And they were like, man, it's huge over here. They've got some big artists themselves. And, you want to talk about, Keith Urban. He's the pinnacle of it when he's coming from New Zealand, So country's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Country is everywhere, and it's so cool. And they remind me all the time that some of these artists that you probably haven't heard on the radio here in 20, 30 years are doing extremely well over there. They're just big icons.
Yeah,
It's nice to see they still have music like that playing.
Then, the funny thing is they'll say, like I'll say, well, who were your inspirations, and I'm thinking they're going to rattle off a bunch of people I don't know because obviously they're from, Norway and Sweden and places like over there. And they're actually saying, no, like the Eagles and Garth Brooks and, and I'm like, wow, I mean, this is where they're getting their inspiration from. And they take it from there and put their own twist on it. And, I mean, some of them are pretty big over there. And it's kind of funny because some of them have come back on my show more than once. And they're, like, calling me from, Norway. And I'm like, what time is it over there? Like, my goodness.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and a lot of the shows that I did over there were late-night shows, and it was totally different.
Yeah, but, it's cool. And it's the fact that, our artists are going over there and their artists are getting some attention here. And the fact that someone like you can go over there and do a great radio tour and get your music out and find a whole another slew of fans and people who love love your music. I mean, the world's getting smaller by the minute with all the social medias and stuff like that, but it's nice when you can actually see somebody and put a face to a sound and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's appreciated no matter where you go.
Yeah, next we go to this new country called Texas, and it's a whole other world over there, I tell you what. It's just like the UK. It's totally different. They have their own chart.
Okay.
They don't really pay attention to the Billboard chart, and they really don't pay that much attention to Nashville, for that matter.
Wow. And you're going over there for a tour now in Texas, throughout the state?
We're sitting down with management tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to start lining up shows for Texas. We've already played there. There's a song on the Blue album called Plainview that we played. The city of Plainview invited us over, and we did this old theater over there, and we reshot some of the video and played to about 300-400 people in the town of Plainview, Texas, and that was incredible. And we've got shows lined up coming up in San Marcos and San Antonio and Houston, and we're just trying to put it all together to start getting a taste of the Texas chart up there, and hopefully we'll do well on that.
Well, that's pretty awesome, and we wish you all the best with that and going out to Texas and getting more recognition, worldwide with this album, Blue. You got some great music on it. We want to feature another song off of there in a minute, but I just want to touch base a little bit off music-wise, which I always like to talk about with artists, because I think when you get into certain positions, no matter what, when you can give back a little bit, I always think that's nice when people actually step up to the plate, whether it's something as simple as paying $5, for the guy behind you's coffee at the local McDonald's, or, whatever you can do to kind of like put a smile on someone's face or help out a little bit or raise some money or educate people in where you are to create awareness and raise money. And educate the public about some things, including children and charities. You want to tell us about that and Bright Star International and let people know what that's all about, Bernie?
I mean, I have several that I really get involved with, Bright Star and the Special Olympics and, of course, the Live Hospice and all those. And if you ring my phone and I'm available to do something, it will please me greatly to go do some kind of fundraiser. But those three are my big main charities that I really get involved with. And, especially a Live Hospice, for example. I mean, what a tough job that is, to get to know people just so that you can watch them pass. And that's what these people do. And then Special Olympics and Bright Star, they're just great organizations. And I like to get out there and do charities and shows and whatever I can to help out those organizations.
Well, like I said, I think it's very admirable, and sometimes, and it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I think people, depending on the industry, especially in the music industry, gets a little lost here and there, and they feel like they don't need to do those things anymore, or they don't need to, give interviews, or they don't, we don't have time for this, or we don't have time for that, we're just too busy doing other things. And I realize that, I understand the business enough to know that, some things get crazy. Time gets crazy. Next thing you know, it's 2 years later, and you're like, holy crap, where'd the last 2 years go, or whatever. But I think when it comes to people who make the time, like you said, your phone rings, and if you can do it, and I've heard that from a couple other artists, if they can make it happen, they're going to stop what they're doing, they're going to take a minute out of their day, and they're going to make it happen. And I just think that's wonderful, and I admire people in your kinds of positions that remember to do that and don't feel like it's a chore to do that. It's something that's like, listen, if we can do something, let's do it. And there's not a second thought about it. And I always like to say I admire you guys when you do that, and I just think that's an amazing thing. And I think people could learn from you who aren't as busy. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, to me, it's like Weekend at Bernie's is probably more beneficial to me than it is for the people that come to Weekend at Bernie's, because it's not just helping people out, but I get to meet these people and we become friends, and so many great gifts have come out of Weekend at Bernie's. My record label person that we got involved with, he was sending me through a Weekend at Bernie's person, and you just never know where, by helping other people, something's going to come from it. And I certainly don't do it hoping I'll get something out of it, but
no.
The days that I ask God, give me somebody to help today, it's amazing what He'll throw at me and what comes out of it. I've traveled the world because I've done benefits. I got to go to New Guinea and be the first country artist in the history of New Guinea just by playing a benefit in Colorado one time for some people. were working out of New Guinea. It took me over to New Guinea, and here I am going to the UK and now Texas, all because of, people that I helped and came into my path. So
that's cool. That's awesome. The song, I want to get this song out here quick before I let you go. Little Bit. You want to tell us a little bit about Little Bit? And you said that was another one of your songs that came from Bernie's camp?
It is. It came out of Weekend at Bernie's. My friend J.T. Cooper. J.T. is an interesting guy. He's a master plumber, but he's also a survivor of the Mogadishu shootout they call Black Hawk Down. Mm-hmm. He's one of the guys portrayed in the movie. He's a real American hero.
Wow.
He served his country, and he came out to my house, and he actually has 3 songs on the album that we've got on the new album, Blue. But A Little Bit is just a fun song. It's a real throwback. It sounds kind of like an Alan Jackson, George Strait song, and we vamped it up a little bit, put some new fresh sound to it, and it's got the big fiddle on it. Then we did a dance mix for it. And it's just it doesn't take a whole lot in my world to make me happy, and that's what A Little Bit's about. People that don't need a whole lot to be content. And I think as you go through life, you find out little by little that a little goes a long way if it's the right thing.
Awesome. Well, we're going to give that to our listening audience and give it a listen and see what people think, what they have to say about it. We're going to be back right after the song, just to kind of touch base with Bernie about how you can get a hold of his music, where you can find him on social media, real quick, and things along that line. But Bernie, do you want to go ahead and introduce your song here for us on this Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, here on Wall to Wall Country is my single Little Bit.
And there you go. That is a little something called A Little Bit. And we're back with Mr. Bernie Nelson hanging out with us here on the Wall to Wall Country Show. A little something called A Little Bit. And that was a great song. And it had that toe tap and feel, Bernie. It definitely had that dance feel. So there's a dance video somewhere? Yes? No?
They are putting it together as we speak, and I think they're shooting it over in the UK, as a matter of fact.
Wow. That's awesome. You're not in there doing the little boot scoot boogie thing with your boots on?
Being in a band my whole life, I was always on stage when the band was playing. It was weird, so I never learned how to do all that stuff. So I can two-step with the best of them, but I can't do the line dancing thing. So.
Oh, okay. Well, at least your voice will be there.
Sure.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I like it a lot. I could see why people are connecting to that one, too. It's another one of those songs people can learn the words, they can sing along. It's definitely a good one, and I think once we get it out more and more here, more and more people are going to like it. And speaking of getting their hands on your music, Bernie, what's some of the best ways? Are you Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, website only? How can people find you, buddy?
All the above. We're social media like crazy right now. Twitter, Facebook. I have Bernie Nelson Music is the artist page. And, of course, my website is the best way to hear everything and see everything that's going on. We try to update that at least weekly, if not every other day. BernieNelsonMusic.com is the website.
Okay.
And it shows you Weekend at Bernie's. It shows you where we've been at here recently. And it kind of keeps you up to date on things. We're getting ready to put a mailing list together, too. So.
Yeah, and I think the neat thing about your website is I love it. It has lots of great information on it, nice little links on it. Like you said, it's got the Bernie and Friends thing on there. It's got the listening room on there. It's a neat website for people to take some time and really, really, kind of look around. Some great photographs and videos of stuff of people that you've worked with. So I like it. I like it a lot. It's BernieNelsonMusic.com, guys. And, of course, you can find all the links. And are you the guy who answers the Facebook and the Twitters and all that?
I try to answer them most of the time. I'm usually the one answering them at 3 o'clock in the morning because I have nothing else to do and I can't go to sleep. So,
well, at least you get a chance to have some peace and quiet and get it done, right?
Yeah, it's a good time to catch up on stuff. So.
Well, that's a great way for people to, get to learn a little bit more about you. And like we mentioned before, social media has its good and its bad points. But one thing is it allows people to kind of get a little bit more one-on-one with the artists that they like and the music that they like, and ask you questions, and maybe even be a little bit more inspirational to people like you yourself as a teacher. Do you find that people use that to ask you questions and want to learn a little something through the social medias? Do you find that?
They do, and I'm limited to how much I can really go into helping people. They want to send me songs and everything. I really don't have that luxury to listen to songs and screen songs, and so I can only refer them to places they can go to, which of course is the best way to go to the organizations in Nashville that do that for you, and I refer them there. But I really don't have time to go through and listen to other people's material. But I wish I could. I just don't. But the social media's gotten so big. We wrote one the other day. We're probably going to track here soon called No Way to Tweet a Woman. So I'm trying to stay on top of those things.
I like it. What's upcoming? Can you give us an idea of what's new? I mean, I know you said you're going to go touring and do some work in Texas, but anything else new that we can wink, wink, nudge, nudge, let our listening audience know about, Bernie?
Well, it's CMA week coming up fast in Nashville. Well, I'll have shows. Those will be listed on my website, the exact dates. I've got a show next week in the great state of Michigan with some friends of mine, and I'll be selling my T-shirts and CDs up there, and all that stuff is available on the website. And then we're putting together a new album, which we hopefully will have ready by the end of the year to turn loose for some new stuff. So,
got an album name or not yet?
No, I think we're about 3 songs deep into it. There's a new song I'm working on. I really love. It's a tribute to Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter called Jesse and Her Outlaw. That'll be on there.
Oh, nice.
Just some really cool songs we've been putting down recently. One's called The Coast of Tennessee that is really dear to me. And I just really like the way this new album's coming together.
Well, that's what people have to look for. And again, if you want to know, more about this album and where Bernie's going to be and what he's going to be up to and his music, make sure you check out his website. That is probably the best vessel to use. But you can also find him on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and chat with them and maybe just if nothing else, just to say hi and they like your music and that kind of thing. Just social, just be social, which is what it's for. Just be social. So there you go. We have one more song, Bernie, that I like to close the show out with to remind people that if it's a Wednesday and they miss the interview, just, hey, don't forget, catch the show again on Sunday. They can rehear the entire interview. And I like to play a song at the end of my show. Is there a song you'd like me to play and just remind people a little bit how they can get their hands on your album and find you on social media and stuff? Is there a song you'd like me to play?
Well, some of the song is true. A lot of it's made up, but some of it definitely could have taken place. It's called Locked Up in Lubbock, and I love the way the song makes me feel.
Locked up are we talking about you, or were you locked up somewhere, Bernie?
You can get in trouble just about anywhere if you stick your nose in the wrong place. So.
Oh, I bet you have stories to tell.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Nice. Maybe on the next interview, we'll just dedicate it to some of your great stories.
The ones we can tell, yeah.
I love it. Well, sir, I don't want to hold you up anymore. I appreciate you one more time taking time out of your crazy busy schedule. I know you're a man on the move, obviously coming back from UK, heading to Texas, and just barely getting any sleep. But thanks again for spending some time on the Wall to Wall Country Show today. We'll be sure to get folks out there to nail down getting a hold of your album. And anything new, and if you end up ever here in Pennsylvania, the doors are open. I mentioned it before. You're always welcome to swing by.
We'll do it. Thank you so much for having me, Casey.
All right. Well, you have a safe day, a good day, and safe travels, my friend, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Bernie. Bye-bye.
Bye now.